Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, the Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across our great state of Michigan. Well, as you're listening to the broadcast version of this show, the radio show, we made it through Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you had a chance to get together with your family and friends. If you're watching the live stream right now, I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving, again, with your family and friends. We've got some weather coming in. You know, I'm always reluctant to talk about weather as we record the show, because we record a couple of days. You know, we do some time shifting here. But it looks like, and there's so much weather slash, Charlie, what's the word that starts with S? Is it S now? Is it S now? Yeah. S now. It looks like there's a lot of S now coming in for up north. So I know my buddy Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, who's also a plow driver, says he plans on working much of the weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Deer season continues. The saga continues. For me, I still haven't shot anything yet. I'm honestly, I'm not frustrated. I'm having a hard time figuring out, and this time of year it gets tougher and tougher, right? Because the deer are pretty much nocturnal, and I'm referring about our lease property because that's the only place I have hunted this fall. That's the only frame of reference that I have. And we are blessed that we got some property we are able to lease from Gene and Pam, 2 wonderful people, 160 acres, about a half hour from the house, so it's not a long drive. And it's really, really beautiful. But there's really, you know, there's not a lot of reason for the deer to stay on that property. We're trying to give them reasons. You know, we put in food. I say we, my son James. We did what the DNR had asked us to do, and we put in food plots, and those are somewhat effective. I don't see the deer crashing into these food plots and staying there during daylight hours and mowing like you see on the TV hunting shows. We have not experienced that yet. And you know, quite possibly it's because we're doing something wrong. I said last week I want to get Rich Grazan of Killer Food Plots involved in our process next year. Maybe we can do something different. Maybe we can do something better to encourage those deer to stay on the property, short of baiting. I have no philosophical problem with baiting at all. I think we should be allowed to bait whitetails in the Lower Peninsula. I don't pretend to be a biologist or a CWD expert, but I think we should be allowed to bait. If the DNR wants us to take more deer, then give us all the tools to do that. And they have given us tools in some ways. You look at the extended seasons. You know, the first 4 days of December, where I live, I think this might be true statewide, we go back to bow season, and then muzzleloader season opens up. Well, muzzleloader season isn't really a muzzleloader season anymore, is it? It's just an extension of the rifle season. And then you've got the late doe season. So I put my crossbow down at about November 12th. Maybe it was the 11th. And I don't think I will pick it back up for the rest of the season. I'll have my Brenton 350 Legend in my hands. So the DNR wants us to take more deer. We have fewer hunters, but they want us to take more deer. So the hunters we have left in the field have to be more productive. Now, if I was a really, really good deer hunter, like, say, just as an example, Kevin Vistison, who I had on the show last week from the Deer Hunter podcast, That guy goes out and he works it hard, and he hunts public land, and he hunts state land. I mean, this is what the guy does. He lives for deer hunting, and he's very good at it. But I don't think Kevin represents the majority of Michigan deer hunters today. He is something special. He is something above and beyond the ordinary. I think I am more representative of the average Michigan deer hunter in that we like it or love it in some cases. We want to harvest deer. We want to share the experience with others and be a part of the tradition. And we really want to put venison in the freezer. We've been out of venison now for several weeks, and my wife Denise says, you've got to go out and shoot a doe, because she knows I'm not targeting bucks. I'm going to shoot a doe, trying to shoot a doe. Well, then give us the tools to do that. The average Michigan deer hunter. The average Michigan deer hunter. Now, I think the average Michigan deer hunter in the Lower Peninsula is using bait. Well, you can't. It's illegal. Well, I know it's illegal, and that's why I will not hunt over bait, because I cannot take the chance of hunting over bait. Again, I have no problem with it. If baiting for deer is illegal, why has every gas station and party store in the Lower Peninsula for the last month had bags of sugar beets, carrots, and corn out front? That's not all going to the Upper Peninsula. Again, I'm no biologist, and they say it's because of the spread of CWD. Well, I'm far more concerned about EHD than I am CWD. And again, I don't pretend to be a biologist, but you look at the impact that EHD has on a local deer herd when it comes in, and it wipes out the herd and it takes years for it to bounce back. CWD, I'm sure, is a threat. But what is the threat? How big is the threat? Is it worth alienating the hunters that you have left by not giving them the tools they're asking for to maybe somehow impact the spread of CWD, when maybe if we had baiting and hunters could take more deer, well, if you've got a smaller deer herd, then aren't you lessening the threat of spreading CWD? Again, I'm not an expert, but I do ask these questions because I'm curious. So I will be out there during the extended season, trying my best to shoot a doe. Maybe I can find one that just gets really hungry. Maybe she'll wander into one of our food plots, and there'll be enough left there. Maybe if we get this snow, maybe that will encourage the deer to use what is left of our food plots during the daylight hours, because we've got trail cameras out there, and believe me, they're in there at night. But so listen, if you are still out there as well, I wish you success. Now, what is success to you? Is it a big buck? Is it a small buck? Is it a doe? Or is it just enjoying time outdoors? Whatever success is to you, that's what I hope for you. If your success does involve harvesting an animal, send it to me. I have been very, very busy posting successful hunters' pictures on my Facebook page, and I want to post yours as well. Send them to me in an email, mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. Oftentimes, I get people who send them to me in Facebook messages. Please don't do that. Because if you send them to me as a Facebook message, I will respond and say, please. I will say, nice, congrats. Please send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com so I can share. Please send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com so I can share. One more request, as long as I'm being greedy and needy, why don't you take 3 seconds and tuck the deer's tongue back in his mouth? Just a thought, just thinking out loud here. I can't tell you the number of pictures I get that are beautiful pictures, but there is a bright, vibrant red tongue hanging out the side of the animal's mouth. And I immediately think of the old cartoons I saw when I was a kid, when you've got a dead animal with a tongue sticking out of its mouth and stars hanging around the animal's head. It looks like a cartoon to me, but it makes us look foolish. I can erase it, and I will. I'm not saying I'm not going to post your picture if you send me an animal with a tongue hanging out. I can fix it, and I will. But wouldn't you rather do it in the field in the first place? Rapid River Knives, I think I got my order in just in time to be guaranteed my knives for Christmas. You're right on the edge of it right now. It doesn't hurt. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.com. Use the promo code MikeAvery15. Our Ham for the Holidays program is up and running. Thank you, Nick Grillo. Thank you, Grillo family of Michigan Brand Meats. Every Wednesday night at 7, join me for Wednesday Night Live. Trinity Monitor, we're having a Black Friday. Never mind. Too late. I'm getting my time frame. You missed a really good Black Friday sale. Oh, and congrats. I'm now a great grandpa. I mean, I've always been a great grandpa, but now I'm officially a great grandpa. My grandson, Trent, you've seen pictures of Trent on the Facebook page. His fiancée, Lexi. God has blessed us with a new member of the family, a beautiful baby girl, Sailor Gray. Now, I liked baby Michelle, but if it's not baby Michelle, Sailor Gray is a beautiful name. Congrats, guys. You have a beautiful family. You're going to be great parents. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine show after the break, Bob Hinds of Central Coast Angling joins me to talk about targeting jumbo perch on Grand Traverse Bay, then Tom Campbell of Woods-n-Waternews. In our second hour, Randy Budde, longtime hunter, talks about his deer season, his bear season, and the upcoming predator season. John Durtka from Purely Michigan Spearfishing, he's the Michigan Spearfishing guy, joins me. This week's Ask Avery segment features Charlie Rood. Charlie. And in our third hour, Tom Lounsbury talks about all things outdoors from his beautiful piece of heaven out there in the thumb, and we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Alpena on WZTK. That's 105.7 FM. You can hear us in St. Joe, WSJM 94.9 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge in Manistee on WTIQ 1490 AM 95.3 FM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by the Linwood Beach Marina and Campground. Linwood Beach can be your year-round Saginaw Bay fishing destination and your mid-Michigan Angler Quest headquarters. Check them out online at linwoodbeachmarina.com. That's linwoodbeachmarina.com. The fishing out in front of Linwood Beach right now has been pretty good on the days you can get out there. I'm seeing some nice pictures of some really nice walleye. Now, a lot of people head out of Linwood Beach to target perch as well. Perch are one of those fish where when you got a good perch bite going, people will quit fishing walleye, and they'll quit fishing salmon, and they'll quit fishing whatever else they're involved in. By the way, if I didn't say this, the website for Linwood Beach, linwoodbeachmarina.com. But there is another jumbo perch fishery in our state. In fact, there are a few, but the one that comes to mind right now is Traverse Bay, and I first was made aware of this fishery and this charter captain, Bob Hinds of Central Coast Angling, through my friends, the Grillos, who fish with Bob a lot. Bob is with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Bob, welcome back. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Mike.
Hey, are you on the water, or did the wind keep you off?
I was supposed to have Butch, Grillo this morning, and we talked, and he was going to bring his grandson, and we made the executive decision to not scar the little guy with the high wind. And the snowflakes had already begun to fall in northern Michigan, so we called it off for the day.
If you could get out and find a protected area, would this pre-storm window, is that usually a good time to catch fish? Do the fish turn on in a period like that?
Yeah, it would be. I'd really like to be fishing today. I'd like to be fishing almost any day that I'm not in a tree stand out of state in the Midwest. But I am happy to I'd be happy to be out there today. It'd be good. It would be good. It's just a little rough.
So, I mean, you obviously are hardcore. You're a hardcore hunter, a hardcore angler. Did you grow up in a family where you learned this? Did you pick this up later in life?
I picked this up later in life. Well, no, disclaimer. We had a boat. My family, my dad would drag my sister and I out on Grand Traverse Bay when I was old enough to barely remember these core memories of, 4 years old, 5 years old. I'd wake up in the cabin of the Sea Ray because we were sleeping in the Frankfurt parking lot or trolling West Bay. So there are some core memories of that. I do have one really awesome core memory of fishing on Bowers Harbor for perch in the winter. I just remember giant piles of perch laying everywhere on the ice. That's back when there wasn't a limit for perch. I mean, I was probably 8 years old. So, I mean, we're talking 35 years ago, 36 years ago, something like that. And so I do have like some core memories of my dad taking me out on Grand Traverse Bay and Lake Michigan.
And look what it's led to. Look where it brought you.
Yeah. Here I am towing a boat around day before Thanksgiving. The storm's coming, so I'm actually going to put the boat in the barn right now to keep it out of the snow for a couple days. But it'll be back out this weekend, I'm sure.
So you're on the water up there when there's not ice. Is that accurate?
Correct. I'm also on the water kind of when it feels like the Titanic. There's some pretty big icebergs floating around usually in the month of February or March. I've seen that too.
Well, and is it just perch that you're after this time of year, the big jumbos?
Yeah, so I've been fishing perch every trip since the last week of September.
And what type of a fishery is that you're looking at? I've seen pictures, so I know, but tell our friends who are listening what you've got there.
Our perch fishery is definitely unlike anything else in the state other than some stuff that I hear, all the way down by New Buffalo and Grand Haven. We're fishing a lot of very deep, very clear water. Given day, the shallowest you might see us fish is maybe 38 foot, early September. Right now I'm fishing some 42, 44. There's some great schools in that depth. And then, the other day I was fishing some 86. So there's definitely fish out already, and those tend to be bigger, true trophies. You're just ridiculously huge jumbo perch that everybody wants to catch, the 14th, the 15th. Those fish are definitely out deeper. They're plus 75 foot right now. They're incredibly hard to find. Seems like you gotta kind of fish a lot. I fish a lot almost every day on the water. I've been doing this for years, so I can kind of, let's go over here. There's a bunch of really good ones in the 70, 75, 80 foot of water. So
14-inch fish, 15-inch fish. Bob, that's crazy.
Yeah. We've had some of those already this year. I haven't been posting a lot because deer season really took a good hold of me, like it always does. I think this year might have been one of the worst years for my. I have a real deer hunting for me is something that I like to do here. I know we're in perch, but it really is starting to coincide with my perch program. There are days I'll tell my clients, we're not going to start till 10:30 or 11. It's probably because I've got really good scrape activity going on here in Michigan, and then I tend to disappear for about 12 to 14 days just to take off to go to Missouri. So it goes right hand in hand, but you got to have a hobby, and perch fishing was a hobby for a while, and then I got really serious about it. And then I needed a new hobby, so that evolved into deer hunting.
I like the way you think, though, right? Because you got to have something to distract. Well, you got to have something to distract you from your day-to-day passion, so it can stay your day-to-day passion. Otherwise, you'd get burned out.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people ask me, that's a hot topic always on the boat, is do you still fish? Everybody always seems to ask that. If I had a list of top 3 questions everybody asked me on my charters consistently on, every day, a lot of people, they don't know me, they've never fished with me before. One of the top 3 questions would, do you still fish for yourself? And the answer is yes, absolutely. I still go for myself. I had a rod in the water fishing with my clients yesterday, actually. The bite was really good, and we were taking advantage of it. And so I slipped a rod in the water, and I caught a couple for myself to eat. And so, I still really, really love perch fishing. I love all my programs that I do, the salmon trolling, the coho and flat bay, the burbot jigging, everything that I do. I absolutely love it. I usually always get involved, at least go a couple times for myself. So it's important to love both.
Do jumbo perch, do they tend to school together? Do they hang together? Yeah. Or do you have a school of mixed sizes from 7 inches to the 14s?
That's pretty common. Certain schools is nothing but big fish. When I came back from Kansas, Missouri there 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and just before I left, there was just a monster school out there that we were fishing. And this school is one of the biggest schools I've seen in deep water since back to, 2019, 2020, 2021. This school's massive. And we start dropping into it, and we start pulling these perch. We're pulling out 7 inches, and we're pulling out 14 inches. It's just a massive school. Of course, now it's all dissipated, and it's broken up. And now I've just got a school of all jumbo perch, and it's just like, yep, you're right in the normal spot. You've been every year for years, and they're very hard to find, and I can sneak right up in there and just be like, okay, let's pull out some big ones, guys or gals.
So these spots, you know them because you've fished them for years. Just give me some general guidelines, though. Are they drop-offs? Are they rock piles? Are they old dying weed beds? What are you looking at?
A lot of them are flats. Some of them, I have one that is on a drop, and it's a very interesting spot. It's actually out on Lake Michigan, this one. And it's just a little horseshoe is all it is. And it's just it drops right off like 10, 15 feet, really sharp. And there's some interesting boulders in there. And I'll watch those fish, and those fish will just circulate, maybe 80 to 120 feet all day around that area. They'll just sit in there. So we really move a lot on that one. They just kind of move through, and when they move through, we pluck them off. Sometimes we get 2. Sometimes they just sit there. We beat up on them. Sometimes, if I got 4 clients, all 4 clients be yanking rods, and maybe we get a couple doubles.
Okay, that's an interesting question. How long will you give a spot before you move?
The minute I feel like the fish are shutting down. So it's very common perch, all fish, I can't even just say perch. Some days you'll be on a pile of walleye and they're just not biting. Well, sometimes the fish have already fed and they have to digest. We just don't sit there as human and just eat and eat and eat. We eat our food, we digest a couple of hours, and then we eat again. A fish's digestive system is much quicker. And so there'll be times I see the perch just kind of go, meh. They're not eating for 2 or 3 hours. So I'll just leave them alone. I'll go find another school, and then I'll come back to them, and they're eating again. So, yeah, I'll leave them fast. Sometimes I'll pluck out 15, 20 out of the school and be like, yep, we're leaving. We're going to another school. Lately, I've been fishing on average 3 to 5 schools of perch a day, to get our limit for the boat.
I don't know if you can even answer this, but how big are these schools? Do you have a sense? Are these like a couple hundred yards across, or what are you looking at down there?
No. We've talked about this before. Fishing with live scope, I'm always on my scope looking. Yesterday we were on this school, and the fish were kind of grouchy, and I was through schools, and I kind of looked over, like, okay, guys, like they wanted to be off the water by 1 o'clock. And I'm like, we're not doing the greatest. We're doing okay. I'd like to be doing better. Let's go hit this one last spot. I'm driving. I look on my scope. I look and just randomly see some fish. So we pull in there, and, it's nothing great. They're just kind of littered all at the bottom, maybe 50 foot long. And they're not really stacked on top of each other. They're just like 50 feet long. So they look like little, just individual fish, 50 foot long. And so we start fishing them, and we start yanking a bunch of 10 and 12-inch perch, which are very nice perch. Those are my favorite perch. They taste great. And we start yanking these out, and then all of a sudden, like, the whole screen erupts, and we've got a school that's probably 120, 150 foot long, and it's like, at times, I can see it, and I'm like, okay, trying to judge it on the scope, and I'm like, that's like 10 to 15 foot tall, that clump of perch there. And every one we're yanking out is, there's some 8s and 9s in there. I'm not going to sit here and BS and be like, oh, they're all 10, 11, 12, 13 inches. No, there weren't. But there were a lot of 10 to 12-inch fish that died out of that school. And we just sat there, and that's when my rod came out. I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Like, this is phenomenal. And that was all out of shallow water. It wasn't deep water. That was like 44 foot we caught those fish.
Hang tight, Bob. We got to take a break. We're talking with Bob Hinds of Central Coast Angling, centralcoastangling.com. My question is, how do you know a fish is grumpy? When you pull him up, does he have a frown on his face? We'll take a break. When we come back, more with Bob. Again, the website, centralcoastangling.com, centralcoastangling.com. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Traverse City on WTCM. That's 580 AM. You can hear us on the other side of the state, Tawas, WIOS, 1480 AM, 106.9 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge in Marquette, WDMJ, 1320 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by VersaSkins, Michigan-based, family-owned VersaSkins. Just change your skin for the season you're in. Why buy a bunch of different sets of expensive hunting clothes when you can buy one good quality set and snap on and zip on an outer shell of a different camo pattern in less than a minute? If you need big sizes, I'm talking 4, 5, 6X, VersaSkins can help you out there. If you're a saddle hunter, VersaSkins makes jackets specifically for the saddle hunters. Check them out online at versaskins.com or go to amazon.com and do a search for VersaSkins brand. VersaSkins, just change your skin for the season you're in. And right now, the season many of us are in, is hunting season. However, there are some hardcore anglers out there. This is a really good time of year to target trophy fish if you're tough enough. Well, Bob Hinds is tough enough. He's the guy behind Central Coast Angling, centralcoastangling.com. And he spends, well, what, Bob? All winter, if you don't have ice, out there chasing jumbos?
I sure wouldn't mind being out there in January and February.
But when did your season normally end? What's Mother Nature? When does she usually send you home?
Wow, while I was on break, I was just looking at my calendar, and with this weather storm coming in, it definitely is going to change the whole entire climate of northern Michigan. And I just looked at Monday, and it's like going to be a high of 28 degrees. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a cold day. But I think I'm going to tell my guys, as long as the wind's low, we're going. Because the water's warm enough. The water's only 44 degrees. It's not like we're going to be dealing with frozen up gear. I mean, your gear's just not going to freeze. I mean, if it does start getting cold, just put it in the water because the water's warm. Your hands are cold, put them in the live well.
So, what's your terminal tackle look like? Are these just standard perch rigs? Are you doing anything fancy?
I have the least fanciest perch rig that I tie ever. I just use a 10-pound floral, a 1.5 ounce bell sinker to get it down that deep water fast, and number 6 gold Aberdeen hooks. I've been using that for a long time, and I haven't changed it because it just works fine. It works fine. I like the 10-pound floral because it's longevity, because we are catching a lot of fish through the year. So having, a perch rig that has a lot of life to it sure does help when you're flipping in 12, 13, 14-inch fish. And I love it because I've got 2 people. I've got Butch Grillo, who seems to always catch doubles and can barely lift the first perch over the boat, but doesn't seem to know that he never looks down in the water. He's like, oh, there's a second one out there. It's like, yeah, it just comes slinking over the side of the boat. Or I got 2 people that know that there's 2 perch on there, and I'm yelling, get them in the boat.
Did we lose you, Bob? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Just take the whole rod and whip them in the boat.
Does a jumbo bite any differently than a 7-inch perch?
Yeah. It definitely thumps the end of the rod. I call it a thump. It'll just take the rod tip down and slam it. But sometimes, there are days they're a little fussy, and you just see that rod tip wiggle a little bit, and you lift up, and it's like, ooh, feels like a little brick on the end of my rod.
So, what do you tell your clients? Do they have the perch rig right on the bottom? Are they a couple feet off the bottom? Do they occasionally jig it? What's the subtlety, the nuance here?
So I just tell them to hold the weight. So pull all the tension, leave the sinker on the bottom, pull all the tension out of the line, and just hold it dead still and watch the rod tip. A lot of us like to bounce, and just slam the weight in the mud and bounce. But it's better just to watch the rod tip. Don't try to feel the bite. Just watch for it and then just lift. Just pick up those groceries.
Have you experimented with braided line at all?
Yeah, all my rods are 8-pound braided.
Oh, they are braided. Okay, I misheard you. I apologize.
Yep, all of them. Yep, all of them. And then I run. I have a long section of 10-pound floral leader.
That's what I heard was the floral. I was thinking the whole setup was floral. Okay.
No, you'd never feel a bite down that deep. You have to run braid.
What's the deepest?
I
what's
like
the deepest you'll find these jumbos?
One time I caught them out of 113 foot, but that was in springtime. In the fall, if you see them out to 88, 90, they're pretty deep. Like I mentioned, I saw 86 the other day. But most days, day in, day out, anywhere from 70 to 85 at this time of the year.
When you look around and you're out there, I mean, obviously people know who you are. They know if they follow you, they're gonna find jumbo perch. Are you the only guy on these spots this time of year, or are there others out there?
No. What was it? Saturday, I think it was. I think there was a total of 7 other boats. So there's 8 boats on the water, including me Saturday. Now I can't confirm that 1 or 2 of them might not have been a duck hunter, but I did count 7 other boats the other day. I did see boats. I think it was Saturday, and driving along shore. Yesterday was what, Tuesday, and there was a boat out fishing the lower West Grand Traverse Bay when I was headed home around 2:00 in the afternoon.
Well, rather than just
guys getting out,
rather than just follow you and take a chance, I would recommend people book a trip with you, Bob Hinds of Central Coast Angling. Go to the website centralcoastangling.com, centralcoastangling.com. Good luck to you. I know you'll be out there as long as Mother Nature allows, and you're going to be putting a ton of jumbos over the sides of that boat. Appreciate your time, Bob. Have a good season. We'll talk again.
You too. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well, Bob Hinds. We'll take a break. When we come back, wrap up this opening hour with Tom Campbell of Woods-n-Waternews. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Battle Creek on WBCK. That's 95.3 FM. You can hear us in Carroll on 2 stations, WKYO 1360 AM and WIDL 92.1 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge. Let's go to Iron Mountain, WMIQ 1450 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by Killer Food Plots. I was saying earlier in the hour, boy, our food plots just are not producing like I had hoped they would. I think I need to get in touch with Rich Krizan next year as we put those food plots in and get his advice. The website, killerfoodplots.com, killerfoodplots.com. Keep an ear out for our monthly Killer Food Plots podcast as well. And congrats to Rich and his family for just having another wonderful season. All the hard work and all the it's all paying off. Killerfoodplots.com. All right, speaking of hard work and paying off, the folks at Woods-n-Waternews have been doing this for decades. And by this, I mean producing a top-quality, beautiful publication every month that centers around, that focuses on this wonderful outdoor lifestyle, hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping. Tom Campbell is one of the reasons for this. He's one of the primaries at Woods-n-Waternews, and he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Tom, welcome back. How are you?
Just fine, Mike. Thank you for those kind words. That's wonderful to hear. I'm blushing.
Well, but nothing I said is not true. I mean, you guys are an icon. You are a staple in the outdoor industry. People turn to Woods and Water to find out what's going on. You've been doing it for decades.
Absolutely. Yeah, we sure have, Mike. And we have a great print issue as well as online issue, so it's not one or the other.
Right.
And
right.
That's great too. And let me tell you, we're really proud of the December issue. We kind of rushed it to press, getting it with the opening day falling on a Saturday and Sunday, a Saturday like it did. But it worked out well, and we've got some. I know the cover's graced with some beautiful big bucks, and we've got some great stories in there. But it's full of other great stuff too. It's just not deer hunting, and I want to push that. But we just feel real good about the December issue. We encourage everybody to pick it up as they're out and about hunting at their favorite newsstand, or hopefully they got a subscription and it's in their mailbox already. So,
how do you decide, of all the different activities going on here in Michigan, how do you decide what's going to end up in those pages every month?
Absolutely. It's like anything. Balance is what we're looking for, Mike. We just try to follow. Obviously, we follow the seasons, and we want to give a great balance, and sometimes it gets really hard, especially now that our deer season starts October. Well, actually, it starts in September now with the special weekends, and it goes all the way to the end of January now. So we're always, now we got to be balanced and try to keep giving tips about deer hunting through that whole time frame. So, but it's great, and we've talked before many times. We've got some fantastic contributors. We got some great outdoor writers that help us through all of this, and it's fun. And like I said, it's so neat to sit here at this desk and get stories from a 6-year-old girl taking her first buck to a 90-year-old great-grandfather taking the biggest buck of his life. So it's wonderful to see all that and read all that, and we love sharing it with everybody else.
And the outdoor scene certainly has changed here in Michigan since you guys started, 37-ish years ago now?
40,
40 years,
getting
wow.
close to 40 now. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Yeah, it sure has. It has changed, and obviously I think it's for the better, but it sure is changed to a family nucleus We share the outdoors with everybody now, where it used to be maybe segregation and everybody's involved, and man, everybody's becoming. So there's so many good hunters out there, good young hunters. When we interview these young guys that have taken, young gals that have taken, they know what they're talking about.
Oh,
it's not a fluke.
Oh yeah,
they know what's going on, and so that's wonderful. And
well, it is wonderful. If our way of life is to continue as us old white guys are aging out, we've got to get different groups involved. You got to get the females involved. You got to get kids involved. I mean, it's a cliche, Tom, but it's true. It is the future of this way of life, is to get more people and different people involved.
Absolutely right, Mike. And if we're the pinnacle of deer management, it's the hunters that do it. And if our numbers keep deteriorating, that deer management is going to take probably a pretty ugly turn that we don't want to see.
Yeah.
So, you're so right. That recruiting and retention. Sometimes, we talk about recruiting a little too much, but we need to retain hunters too. We're losing some hunters that we shouldn't be losing, and that's an issue too. And hopefully they'll grab a Woods and Waters and get motivated again.
There you go.
But that's what we can do.
Well, you kind of we veered off into a topic that we could talk for hours on, but we're out of time. You know how this whole radio biz goes. Hey, it's not like a magazine where I just put in a couple more pages when I want more content.
There you go.
All right, Tom, keep up the good work, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
Tom Campbell of Woods-n-Waternews, the website woods-n-waternews.com. That's woods-n-waternews.com. Really great people over there, and they do a wonderful job of promoting this outdoor lifestyle that we all, well, I don't know if we all, right? If you're listening to this show, you probably are involved in the outdoor lifestyle. I know I certainly want to see it continue, but I do hear occasionally, in fact, quite frequently, from people who say, look at Avery, I like your show. I don't hunt or fish, but I like your show. And I think that maybe that's the best compliment I can get. And I appreciate it. We'll take a break. When we come back in hour number 2, Randy Budde, John Durtka, and Charlie.
Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, the Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Charlie, why do you do that to me? You are going to get to meet Charlie Rood at the end of this hour with the Ask Avery segment. So just to pay Charlie back, I'm going to come up with some kind of a question that's going to just throw him off tremendously. Anyway, my friends, welcome to hour number 2 of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, as we're now fully in the holiday season, right? As you're hearing the broadcast version of this show, Thanksgiving is behind us. Christmas, not too far away. Boy, if you can trust the weather forecast, looks like we're getting some weather this weekend. How much is going to depend on where you live in our great state. But thank you so much for being along with us. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine radio show on more than 30 radio stations across our great state of Michigan, and I do believe that is the best way to listen to the content of this show if you can. If you can't, if you live in some part of our state not covered by the broadcast signal, or if your local station doesn't carry all 3 hours, yes, this is a 3-hour show, you can always hear the podcast version of the show. And the content of the podcast is exactly the same as the content of the radio show. It's just made available somewhere other than your local radio station. You can hear it on my website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. It's on the Facebook page. It's on all of the usual podcasting outlets. So be sure to check that out. I do like podcasting. I'm not in it at the level that some people who make their entire career on podcasting. To me, it's an extra thing kind of on the side. I do podcast every month for Offshore Tackle, Killer Food Plots, and Angler Quest Pontoons. In fact, when we are done recording the radio show, we're going to get Mr. Angler Quest himself, Brad Dupuis, on the phone line and record this month's Angler Quest podcast. So I'm looking forward to that. So keep your ears open for that. I'll post it on my Facebook page as well. Regardless, though, of where you are hearing my voice, how you are hearing my voice, boy, thank you. Thank you so much. I would not have been able to do what I have for so many years without your support, without you, in the early days, watching the TV show, these days listening to the radio show, the podcast, the social media stuff, the online stuff, the streaming stuff. I really mean this a lot. I am blessed to be able to do something that I still love, and I would not be able to do it without your support. So thank you so very much for that. I've always said I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert hunter. I'm not an expert angler. In fact, sometimes I'm not even very good at it. That's why I have so much respect for people who I do consider to be experts. I mean, folks who have it dialed in, who are very, very good at this. Randy Budde is one of these guys. Randy is just he's a hardcore outdoorsman, a hardcore hunter, just an excellent coyote hunter. He's also a bear hunter, a deer hunter. And I thought, you know what? Let's just get him on the phone line to see what's going on in his world. And he graciously agreed to join us. Randy, welcome back to the show. How have you been, buddy?
Good. How about you, Mike?
I'm struggling during this deer season, but I'm having fun. My grandkids are getting deer. My son got a deer. So, it's all good. The experience is a reward in itself.
Yeah, at our age, it's nice to see the grandkids and stuff killing them better than killing them yourself.
I think it really is, and I never. When I was a younger guy, I thought, oh, that's malarkey. These old guys say this stuff, but once you get there, it really is true.
Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing your grandkids get them deer.
How has your deer season gone for you and the family, Randy?
It's been great where I'm at. We've all killed bucks. My 10-year-old grandson, he killed a huge 8-point in the youth hunt, which that wasn't his first deer, but it was definitely his nicest one. And then he ended up killing a bear in September, which was his first bear. And
wow.
And then the 13-year-old grandson, he killed a nice buck during the youth hunt, and then he did fill his second buck tag during the rifle hunt, and he killed a bear, which that was his 5th bear.
Jeez.
So it's been great. My daughter, which hasn't killed a buck in a few years, she killed a really, really large, beautiful 7-point. So the season's been really going good for us. This is my 55th deer season here in Michigan, and it just seems like every year the deer hunting gets better and better.
Okay, this is interesting. I've got to follow up on this because when I talk to people around the state, this is not a common story that I'm hearing. In fact, I'm hearing just the opposite from a lot of people, Randy. So what do you mean by that? And why do you think it's so good there in your part of the world?
Well, my first deer season was 1970, and there wasn't very many deer around back then. Well, we could only shoot one buck then, and it was almost impossible to get a doe permit. There just wasn't very many deer around, and the deer population has exploded since then, and it just seems like that there's more deer every year. It used to be we would hunt all season, and you were lucky to see one small buck, and now it's kind of unusual for me to go out hunting and not see a buck. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot more deer around, and the quality of the deer has really improved too. I hunt two counties. I hunt one county that is no antler point restriction, and then I hunt one county that is antler point restriction, and actually all our nicest bucks have come from the county without antler point restrictions this year. But seen a lot of deer in both areas.
You were talking about your kids, or your grandkids, during the youth hunt, getting nice deer. It drives me crazy when I hear people complain about the youth hunt and how they say these young hunters shouldn't be allowed, they shouldn't be allowed to shoot these big bucks before the rest of us get out there after them. I can't think of any criticism for the youth season, Randy. What about you?
I can't either. I think that's one of the very few good things that DNR did. I don't agree with a lot of things they do, but that is great. It'd be nice if it was a little longer because it's only being 2 days. If the weather is really bad, that can kind of screw them up. But I think it's great. And then a lot of people I don't think realize that until them kids are 17 years old, they can't set out there on their own, even if it's their own property, deer hunting. They have to have an adult with them. And the youth hunt gives a chance for the adults to go out, and it's just about the kids.
Yep. And I'll hear people, they say, well, Avery, this is just an excuse for the dad to shoot the deer. And I say, look, if somebody is using this as an excuse to do that, you're a violator. You're not a good person. And your problems go well beyond the youth season. If you're using the youth season to shoot a deer in front of your kid and take that opportunity from them and break the law, you're bad. You're just a rotten person.
Right. And if they're going to do that, they'll go out and do it without the kid even being with them. So,
yeah, true.
Yeah, that I don't think that happens very often. I'm sure it does happen, but it happens by the same way as they just go out and do it, even if there ain't a season.
Yeah.
So I don't think it happens that often.
Well, you know what, Randy? I have said the same thing. I don't think it happens very often. I'm sure it happens, but I don't think it happens very often. And I've had a lot of people tell me, Avery, you're being naive. It does happen. And they'll say, because we know people who do it. And I say, look, if you're hanging around with people who do this, you're hanging around with the wrong people. Move on to a different crowd.
But, if they're taking their kids out there and doing that, it's increasing their chances of getting caught, because the kid's going to go to school and say, hey, I didn't really shoot it, my dad shot it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in that. I'm sure it happens, but I don't think it happens that often.
Tell me about
I also forgot to mention my 7-year-old grandson killed his first deer during rifle season this year, and that was a 18-inch wide on the inside 6-point. I've been getting pictures of that deer all summer, and that was his first deer, and he shot it during rifle season.
Wow. Your grandkids are lucky to have Randy Budde as their grandpa.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm pretty lucky to have them grandkids that are interested in hunting.
Oh, Randy, I love to hear that. Listen, we got to take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. A lot more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about bear hunting too, and then of course we got to talk about coyote hunting. I know it's a little bit early in the season. You really haven't fired that up yet, but we got to spend the bulk of the rest of the conversation getting ready for predator season, if you don't mind.
Yep, that's fine.
All right, Randy Budde, A guy who, as you can tell, he's just a wealth of knowledge. He has passed this on to his kids. He's passed this on to his grandkids, and now they get. I'm feeling like a pretty bad grandpa right now. My grandkids have both shot bucks, but they haven't shot bucks the quality that Randy's talking about. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. And then also, in this hour, I want to check in with John Durtka. John is the guy who brought spearfishing. He made it, basically, he's the one-man force who has made spearfishing, underwater spearfishing, legal in Michigan. And then the Ask Avery segment this week is a follow-up from last week. Last week, you got to meet young Jonathan Dent. Well, this week you get to meet the icon, Charlie Rood. And coming up in our third hour, Tom Lounsbury and wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. That's all coming up yet this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Sheboygan on Big Country Gold WCBY, 1240 AM, 100.7 FM. You can hear us in Muskegon on WKBZ, 1090 AM. And north of the bridge in Newberry, WNBY, 1450 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine, I don't even need to say anything more, do I? By now you know what this is. Okay, what is it? That's the sound of my Rapid River knife locking back open. I just took it out of my pocket where it lives all the time. I always have a Rapid River knife with me. I am just a big fan of the Michigan-based family-owned company. Chris Durson has done a wonderful job building up Rapid River knives. He's got a lot of people working for him now. Why do I like Rapid River knives? Number one, they are handmade by craftsmen in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. These knives are guaranteed for life. I don't care if you screw it up, as long as you're honest with Chris and you walk in and say, look, I used it as a screwdriver, which we've all done, he will fix it or replace it. If you use the promo code MikeAvery15, that's MikeAvery15, you can get 15% off your entire order. Now, that's not on the Avery signature knife, because profits from that go to Outdoor Driven, a group designed to get vets and first responders in the outdoors. If you go to the website right now and order at rapidriverknifeworks.com, I don't think they can guarantee you will get your knives in time for Christmas. They will do their best, but I don't think they can guarantee it. I made a pretty good size knife order just under the deadline, so I am guaranteed for Christmas. If you're looking for knives, don't go to the showroom right now because Chris says they look like they've been robbed. If you're looking for the clothing and the other stuff, yeah, stop by. It's on US 2 just east of Rapid River. But keep this in mind, rapidriverknifeworks.com. Use the promo code MikeAvery15 to get 15% off your entire order. How cool is that? I also think it's cool that Randy Budde is a guy who loves the outdoor lifestyle. He loves to hunt. He has passed this love and this knowledge down in his own family through his kids and now into his grandkids. Randy, you were talking about, I think 2 of your kids scored bears this year. Are you a bear guide, an official formal guide, or are you just out doing this for fun?
No, we just do it for fun. My brother and I, we usually spend most of the month of September in the UP baiting the bear for us and family and a few friends. And I always send in for the last season, and I can get one usually every other year in the area we go for the last season. And I don't know anymore. The bear hunting, it's all right, but I don't really, I can take it or leave it, but I do like going up and baiting them. And my grandkids, the DNR has a program where the youth hunters, if they aren't successful on the draw, they can let the DNR know, and then if anybody turns in a permit that they got and they can't go hunting, then they'll give that to the youth hunters. And my grandkids has been lucky about getting one of them permits. And so Easton, which is he just turned 13 this year, he's killed 5 bears, and Then Hudson, which he just turned 10 this year. He's been afraid of the loud noise, the bang of the gun. The recoil don't bother him much, but the bang has always bothered him. And last year we put him in front of a bear, and he wouldn't shoot because he was afraid of the bang. And so late last year, just before rifle season, I bought a suppressor to see if I couldn't get him to shoot, and that worked. And so he was lucky and killed a really nice buck on the youth hunt this year, and then the bear got in front of him this year, and he wasn't afraid to shoot. So, and I was sitting with him when he killed the bear, and it was great. He was just so excited.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. And you know, you're talking about the UP. It reminds me of a story you told me a couple of years ago. You guys were up coyote hunting in the UP, and you actually ended up calling in a pack of wolves. Do you have encounters with wolves when you're up there bear hunting in the UP?
Yeah, we get a lot of them on camera, and we do see them occasionally on the baits. There is a lot of wolves in the area that we bear hunt. I quit going coyote hunting up there mainly because you just called in more wolves than you do coyotes, and after dark they look a lot the same, so it'd be easy to make a mistake. So I usually don't even go coyote hunting up there anymore when I'm up there.
If we ever get a wolf hunt again here in Michigan, and they allow you guys, the predator hunters, the guys who are really good at this, the trappers, the dog hunters, I think we'll reach our quota, because as you know, the first time around we didn't get the number of wolves that they were going to allow us to have. But man, I look at the way that you guys target coyotes, and that's got to be your passion, Randy. Is that the number one thing for you these days?
Yeah, well, I like it, but it's kind of dying down for me. Ever since the DNR closed the season for 3 months and I lost momentum on it, it's just not the same. I found other things to do. I've gotten more so back into competitive rifle shooting, which I've always done that my whole life somewhat. And so I started leaning more to competitive rifle shooting. And there's just so many things to do here that you can't do it all. Yeah. And so that kind of cut in on the coyote hunting. And then too, I'm getting older. I like to go to sleep at night. So,
but when you're younger, that whole sleep thing's overrated. When you get older, it's like, man, it's necessary.
Yeah. And then I've killed myself personally. I've shot well over 600 coyotes. And so it's not the thrill it used to be.
All right, let me ask you this then, Randy. Like it. Well, yeah, but some people are going to say they're going to hear that and they go, hold on here. And all right, I'm going to play devil's advocate because I'm on your side here now. Did you eat those coyotes?
No.
Then why?
I know some people that's tried them, but
well, so do I, and it was not a great experience. Then, so then the question then becomes, and I think this is a valid question: if you're not going to eat an animal, why harvest an animal?
Well, to try to keep the population down. If we have too many predators, then they're gonna start depleting other animals like the deer, rabbits, and everything else. The population has to be controlled, so that's why I hunt them, to help control the population. Well, and then too, I liked it.
And there's no doubt. I mean, again, I go back to when I was a kid growing up in West Michigan. I never heard a coyote. I never saw a coyote. Now, every night I'm out in the woods, I hear them yipping and howling before dark. I mean, we've definitely, even though they're hunted now, we've still got more coyotes than we've ever had. Imagine if we didn't hunt them.
We're right. They're not really native to Michigan. In my area, up until the 80s, I never even heard of a coyote being around here.
Yeah.
And now, they're all over. They got to be controlled one way or another. And, it was foolish for him to close the season for 3 months. I was totally against that. But
well, and I think a lot of people were, Randy, and I think the NRC showed their true colors. The Natural Resources Commission showed their true colors when they did that, and I think they've been paying for that ever since, as they should.
Yep. I guess it's switched back now. It's a little confusing the way they got the season now, but yeah, I plan on hunting them in a little bit. Maybe we get slowed down on this deer hunting.
Once you get that out of your system, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Because there is more emphasis on coyote hunting these days, and there are more people out in the woods targeting them, is nighttime hunting necessary? Is that the way to get into it, or can a person still go out in the daytime these days and harvest a coyote?
Yeah, you can still go in the daytime. Nighttime is a lot more productive, but it takes a lot more specialized equipment and costs a lot more money. But they'll come in the daytime too. Probably early mornings and later in the evenings the best time to go out there. But that's a good way to get started, because even after dark, they're not that easy to get. It can be challenging.
Even for you, a guy who's been hunting them for years, some nights are not the best.
Oh yeah, you can go. It's kind of funny. You can go a week and not have good luck, and then all of a sudden you'll hit the right time, and you might kill 5-6 of them a night. It kind of goes in streaks, There's something out there that makes them animals moving a lot more certain nights than others. Just like deer hunting, you can go deer hunting and you're seeing lots of deer, and then a week later you just about can't find one. So
if somebody's new to predator hunting and they're trying to get started in this sport, be patient, because you're not going to go out and take a coyote your first night or your first week or your first month even, maybe.
Right. Or even some cases it's been years before somebody has got some.
Wow.
Of course, there's a lot more coyotes now than there used to be, so it's getting easier. But, don't get discouraged. And a lot of people think, well, I'm not using the right sound, or I'm not doing it right. If you're calling in crows or hawks or owls or anything like that, you're doing it right. It's just you got to be persistent at it. Not every coyote out there wants to come running to that sound.
Wouldn't it be a lot easier if they did, though?
It would be, but it probably wouldn't be as much fun. You wouldn't get the thrill out of killing one. When you first kill them first coyotes, maybe even the first 100 of them, it's thrilling. I mean, you fooled that animal and got him to come in there, and you took him. It's a thrill. I think it's probably as big a thrill as killing a big buck.
Wow. Well, Randy, listen, I'm out of time. I got to let you go, but I got to tell you this: it is always a pleasure when I talk to you, because you're a man of much knowledge, and you share that with your family and friends and others. And I appreciate that, Randy. Have a good season. We'll talk again.
All right. Nice talking to you, Mike.
Same here.
Good luck hunting.
Yeah, thank you. Randy doesn't need hunting because he's got skill. I have no skill, so I need a lot of luck. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, the Michigan spear fisherman John Durtka right here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine Show in Houghton Lake on the Twister 92.1 WTWS. You can hear us in Manistee, WMLQ 97.7 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge in the Sioux, WKNW 1400 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by the Truck Trolley. Look at you don't need the stick with the hook on the end of it to reach everything in your truck bed. This is what I used to have. Now I got a truck trolley, right? Truck trolley is a platform that is on wheels. It is removable. It's not bolted to your truck, but it allows you access to your entire truck bed. If you want to take it out and haul gravel or sand or whatever, you can do that in just a couple of minutes, put it right back in. I think it is a wonderful design. It's a wonderful product. It is a Michigan-made, family-owned company. Andy Weiss is doing a great job. Check out the website, trucktrolley.com. That's trucktrolley.com. All right, I want to talk now with a guy who I have much respect for. His name is John Durtka. He is a prime example of having a cause, having an idea, and being willing to work hard for it. John is the guy who has brought underwater spearfishing to the state of Michigan, and now it has expanded, and we'll bring John on the phone line to talk more about that. John, welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back on, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, and congrats on your continued success, John.
Thank you very much. It was a hard-fought battle, but, it's progress over perfection.
So what is this latest news? What's the expansion about?
It's just areas where you can target those game fish that we got passed in 2022. So it expands the boundaries of the Great Lakes waters for northern pike, walleye, and lake trout.
And now it's just about lake-wide, isn't it? Isn't it just about everywhere?
Yeah, all 4 Great Lakes and Michigan borders are open now. So that adds Lake Erie and Lake Superior and expands the boundaries on Lake Michigan.
I know at one time when I was talking with you early, I think it was in the summertime, you said, man, this doesn't look good. It looks like I thought we had them going, you're saying this, I thought we had them going our direction, and then there was some correspondence or an email or something that came out. It looks like they had turned their back on you, basically. What happened? How did you get things open back up?
So, yeah, the department, we'd been doing the underwater spearfishing working group, and over the, several months that we were doing it, I thought we were going to have a positive recommendation from the Department of Natural Resources coming to the NRC. And back in, I think it was June, they gave a draft recommendation about actually letting it sunset. And then we were able to get them to just come up to just status quo, keep it the way it was. And then the NRC said, based on the information that the harvest data kind of demonstrated, they weren't concerned about it. And so they kind of took the lead and said, we're going to expand this for them. And they worked with many different stakeholder groups and worked on finding the boundaries where they felt it was acceptable. And that's what we got passed.
John, what was this process like? I mean, you're one man. You had to work with the DNR. You had to work with the NRC to get them to do something that nobody in Michigan had ever done before. How in the world did you make that happen?
Well, it's a little nerve-wracking at first because you're in the room with very knowledgeable people and very well-versed people. But all you can do is be respectful and just give them, the best attitude you can, and give them the best perspective that you can, and really just try and demonstrate that how you believe this is going to be good and how it's going to create opportunities for recreation, and then create opportunities for table-worthy game fish, and just show them, hopefully, based on the science and the data and everything that we're able to do. And all you do is you get in there and you really hope that the calmer, minds prevail, and that, that really it's kind of hit or miss, but, you get in there and you just give it your best shot and hope that the right people are listening, and that's really ultimately what happened. And
keep at it and not be scared when you hear the word no. That's what I've seen from watching you.
Yes, absolutely. You got to stay in there, and don't get discouraged when it doesn't go your way, and just figure out, see if there's another route or alternative that you can get in there. So that way, if you have a hard line, you're going to probably get less results. So if you move that line and say, hey, if I can't get something else, maybe I can settle for something less. And that's pretty much how it goes.
Now, your numbers are not that big, but your presence in the outdoors, I think, is very impressive. You guys have used social media to really promote this cause. I think you've done a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, there was only a couple hundred of us really that are doing with any kind of consistency, and we're harvesting less than like 500 fish a year of the new game species. But I tell you what, underwater, it's not seen a lot. So being able to record and show everybody what's down there in the different schools, it really helps out.
I find it fascinating because I'm not going to do it. I support you guys, but I'm not going to do it. But to be able to see your videos, I just love these things. Where do we find them, John?
You can find them on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram at Purely MI Spearfishing.
Purely MI Spearfishing. John Durtka, you are a great example to anybody in this state who wants to get something done. I congratulate you. I will wish you a wonderful season, and we'll talk again.
Sounds great, Mike. Thank you again for having me on.
My pleasure. Yeah, John Durtka, as it's amazing what somebody can get done if you are willing to stay at it. And you got to be pretty tough. You got to be pretty thin, or you got to have a thick skin from what I've seen, right? Because not everybody's going to go along with this. There are going to be haters in today's world, And John saw this, and he just worked his way through it, and I have a lot of respect for that. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, this week's Ask Avery question. It's a follow-up on last week's Ask Avery question, and you're going to get to meet a guy who is he's a legend in broadcasting. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine Show in Houghton Lake on 98.5 WUPS. You can hear us in Sandusky, WMIC 660 AM, 95.3 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge. Just go to Escanaba, WCHT, that's 600 AM, 93.5 FM. The Ask Avery segment is brought to you each week by the good folks at Security Credit Union. Security Credit Union loves to work with outdoorsmen and women, and they can help you with your next outdoor adventure. Check them out online at securitycu.org. That's securitycu.org. You know this by now, but the way the Ask Avery segment works is this is your chance to get involved in the content of the show. You can send me a question that you want me to answer directly, or maybe something that you want me to pass along to, somebody in Lansing that I might have access to that you don't. The best way to get these questions to me is to send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. Now, Jason Beck did this last week. Jason is an online listener from Indiana. His question is, Mike, your listeners, if they feel like me, really get to know you and your guests on the show, even from afar. He says, listening every week, we all hear about the legend Charlie Rood and the young Jonathan Dent. With them being a big part of the show, do they hunt or fish? I'd love to hear 5 minutes of them on the air to get to know them. Now, last week, John Dent was in the studio with me, and he had just, by coincidence, talked about having an interest in hunting. So I thought, okay, this is a good time to get Jason's question on the air. This week, the legend himself, Charlie, is with me in the studio, and he has graciously agreed. Because I did his show this morning, he's got to do mine today, Charlie. That's the way it works, right?
It does work that way, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
So, Charlie, listen, I've said this before. I value your partnership on this show and your friendship tremendously. You and I have worked together for several years now, but your career in radio goes way back.
This is my 41st year.
You're not old enough.
No. So you got the young Jonathan Dent, and now you have the old Charlie Rood.
But nobody's chanting Jonathan like they are Charlie.
Not yet.
WSGW, you've been here for many, many years. We can hear you on air, online, AM, FM. I mean, you're a big part of radio here in this part of the state.
That's kind of you to say. I've been fortunate, as I know you'd probably say the same thing, fortunate to do something that you love, you have a passion for, and your health has allowed you to maintain the opportunities to have a lot of years of experience.
So what about from the outdoor perspective, Charlie? You and I have talked about this many times. You're very open about this. You're not a hunter. You're not even an angler. But you say you enjoy doing the show.
I fished a few times, I must tell you. But the description that you used at the beginning of this hour, remember you talked about how you hear from people who listen to your show. They might not do the hunting, the fishing, the trapping, but they just enjoy the show. That's my category. I find it fascinating, the outdoor lifestyle, the experiences, the importance of what the outdoors is for the state of Michigan, both for management, for the opportunities to feed, and that the economic impact. There's a lot of things to like.
And I appreciate that folks like you who are not hunters or even anglers for the most part, that you respect what we do as hunters and anglers, you support it, And we need that support from people like you in today's world, because there are a lot of people who want to take this away from you. So let me take this away from us. So let me ask you, as a guy who's kind of on the outside, when you look at those hardcore anti-hunting groups, do you see any validity to their point of view or not?
No. In fact, I've made fun of them on the radio show that I have hosted, especially when you have groups such as the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals and some of the things that they involve themselves in and promote and talk about, which I think a lot of it they do just to get attention, because some of the things they do are so outrageous and frivolous. So I don't think there's any validity at all. I have the mindset that they have not really taken time to have a conversation with people who really understand what is going on and the need, and they have a cause that they are going to do whatever it is in order to garner attention to gain the money that's necessary to keep their organizations running.
See, that's why you're the legend, Charlie Rood. Hey, I do have to ask you, though, if you're not, you don't hunt, you don't fish much, but you're a big sports guy. I mean, you love baseball, right?
That's my passion. I have been a baseball coach for many years. Out of season, I still work with kids as far as one-on-one opportunities, and that's what I love. I mean, I had a cousin who would hunt and fish, uncle, grandfather, but it was never the immediate family. It was not part of our culture, and you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You grow it up in it, and that's how the experience happens. And since it wasn't in my immediate family, and I never expressed an interest to say, hey, can I go out hunting with uncle or grandpa? And it was never suggested, do you want to go?
Well, Charlie, listen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your involvement in this show. I mean, you're approaching this from the technical perspective and running the phone lines and running the boards. Listen, I know you are a professional broadcaster. You could do both ends of this. I can't, so I appreciate you doing the technical end of this, so I can just sit here at the microphone and shoot the breeze. So, Charlie, you're a big part of the show. You're a good friend of mine. I would encourage people to listen to you on WSGW AM and FM and WSGW.com. And as I look out the window, it is a very rotten weather day, and there is nobody out there, but I know that if the weather was nicer, they'd be chanting, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie.
Thank you for the opportunity to you and to your listeners, too. They've been very supportive of me as well.
Appreciate that. And thank you, Jason Beck, for asking the question. And thank you, Security Credit Union, for making each week's Ask Avery segment possible. Hour 3 coming up.
Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, the Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Indeed, this is the big guy, Mike Avery. Thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome. Welcome to hour number 3 of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. As you're hearing this show, Thanksgiving is behind us. Christmas is coming up. It is the holiday season. Happy holidays to you. Oh, I hope you have a chance to. You know what? Things get so crazy during this time of year. It's easy just to get sucked into the everything that is supposed to be done and supposed to be done right. Right? Well, I say just take a big breath and enjoy the holiday season, enjoy Christmas that's coming up, but not let it take over. I mean, still get time to get out and do some deer hunting or chase some rabbits or whatever. Do a little ice fishing, do a little late season open water season fishing, whatever Mother Nature's going to bring to us, right? Oh, I don't have to remind Tom Lounsbury about that, though. I mean, Tom is a guy who is so in tune with what it's like to be, in his case, an outdoorsman here in Michigan. I mean, he's lived, I think he's third generation on the family farm, maybe fourth generation on the family farm. But he is, when I look at Tom, I see the consummate Michigan outdoorsman. He's also a member of the Michigan Outdoor Hall of Fame, so how cool is that? He is an outdoor writer. He is an outdoor broadcaster. He has his own radio show. He's a mentor to so many people over the years, and he's just really a good guy. And he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Tom, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mike, and it's always a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. Good to hear from you.
Oh, it's always nice to hear from you. So let's catch up a little bit. How is your fall going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. The pheasant season, there's a lot of birds out there, wild birds. I have the habitat, and some of my neighbors do too. And they've had some mild winters, and I could tell in May, well, we didn't put much of a dent in the rooster population because I could hear them crowing all over in May. And that drought we had in late spring, early summer really helped the hens with with nests and rearing broods and everything. And I saw a lot of big broods this year. I even had wild turkeys here with big broods. So it was a good year for, upland game, ground nesters. And the only thing is last year my prairie grass was 6 to 8 feet tall because everything was prime. Well, due to the drought, it's about waist high, but there's still a dense understory. And opening day, I had standing cornfields around me. And when I say there's lots of old birds out there, there's some dandies. You won't believe the tail feathers on them. I wish they still had those tail feather contests. But anyway, boy, the minute things started, man, they were vacating. We didn't put much of a dent in them at all. But I'm looking forward to the December pheasant season, and that's actually become my best.
Really?
I do enjoy the 20th and so forth. That's tradition, and I invite a bunch of friends and family out and really enjoy that. But boy, December is I plan on having some good times with pheasants in December.
And we'll talk more about that, but I got to go back to a point you brought up. You said that springtime drought was actually good for the pheasant broods. How is that? How does that work, Tom?
Well, if they get a lot of rain and cold, the chick survival, to begin with, typically, I got a lot of older birds this year, roosters, but typically, 80% or so of roosters' harvest in a given year were hatched that summer. So if you have a good hatch, you're going to have a good, fall season. But if there's cold, wet, changey weather, then the hens have trouble, rearing their broods and everything. So everything fell into place this year. I mean, it was just perfect. There were a lot of hens, a lot of roosters, and they had a good rearing season. Yeah, I've seen very large, clutches, or not clutches, but, hens with chicks and everything. It was excellent.
So the December season, I mean, I've hunted it a couple times. It was in the snow. That made it different. How else is it different, Tom?
Well, most of your crops are off. What I have in October season is I even had a mass of sugar beet fields to the north of me, and they were heading for that too. I was surrounded by beans, soybeans that weren't harvested, and corn that wasn't harvested. And anyway, it didn't take long when you were out there. The fields were cleared right out of birds. We got some shooting in, but a lot of it was Hail Marys. Let me tell you, they were moving out.
I don't think of sugar beets as a cover for pheasants.
I've actually had good pheasant hunting in sugar beets. It's a pain in the neck when you got to go across rows to get up to your dog and that. But and I'm wondering. I think that there's like I want to say some kind of snails or something, slugs or whatever you want to call them. I think they might be in there feeding on them in the sugar beets, and it's good cover for them. It's once they fly up, you can see them a lot better than in the tall stuff. But it can be rough going. I've tried to run, hop over rows to intercept, to get up on my dog. But sugar beets can be really good if you got permission to go into a field like that.
So are pheasants like turkeys in that they're omnivores? Because you said they'd eat slugs. I thought pheasants were just seed-eating critters.
Oh no! In fact, chicks, their diet when hens rearing chicks. That's why you got to have, insecticides don't help hens at all rearing chicks. Fortunately, like my prairie grass, that's not in there. But 90% or more of a chick's diet, maybe 98% of a chick's diet, is all insects. And I always like it in August. I've seen them when the grasshoppers show up. And I saw both turkey hens and pheasant hens out with their chicks chasing grasshoppers. I mean, they go after that in a hurry.
So how is bird scent if we do get snow? Does snow hold scent better than dry ground, or does it make a difference at all?
It depends on the snow. I've seen certain snow where beagles couldn't pick up a fresh track on it. It depends on the snow. I like a little bit of moisture in it. One of the problems, and I remember when the season first came in, the December season 2006, everybody's going to say, one guy even told me I could track a rooster down and catch him with my bare hands. I don't know what rooster he was talking about. But anyway, what I learned a lot in the snow during December season about how they circle around you. I mean, when you start trying to track them down and I've had days when the snow is just the right texture, it can be really handy. In locating the birds. But they are circling around you. One of the worries, you're going to disperse them, and they're going to fly out into habitat that they can't survive in. That's not true. They'll be back into the good habitat. They're not into suicide.
Another concern was, if you hunt these birds in December, you're not going to leave any brood stock for the next year. You've heard that. I've heard that, but obviously that's not the case.
It's not the case. Since 2006, the first December season, I've never seen it's up and downs. A whole lot of your future season, the following year is due to the wild chick production, the survival rate and everything else, because they make up the majority of the birds. And I can tell you, you don't ever get all the roosters, and they really like a lot of extra dates. So there's no problem with roosters taking care of the deal. And I've never seen any difference. The differences I've seen are associated with weather. And I hear that all the time. And you can't stockpile roosters, typically a lifespan of a year, average for these wild birds. And I'll tell you, I got some old birds out there. They're 3 years old, and I'm going to be looking for the younger, dumber ones, trust me, when December rolls around.
So this is interesting. We've talked about this before, but I don't think we've really concentrated on it. But a lot of the roosters shot in October are actually that spring's birds?
Yes.
Wow.
They're typically, were hatched in June or so, and that's when you see different age groups. If the hen, a lot of people think the hens, if she, loses her eggs or something, or after she produces chicks, she'll produce more. No, what the hens do is what I've been told by biologists, they'll lay one time. And if the chicks survive, they're done. They don't lay again. But you have hens that due to predation, like raccoons and that, may lose their first nest, and then you'll have. And I saw actually, I did see some I call them second hatch roosters. But I got a lot of first hatch made it through good, and that's the first hatch.
Hey, listen, I hate to interrupt a member of the Outdoor Hall of Fame, but we have to. Got to take a break. More with Tom Lounsbury coming back after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine. can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Holland on WHTC. That's 1450 AM, 99.7 FM. You can hear us in Lansing on WILS, 1320 AM. And you can hear us in Port Huron, WPHM, 1380 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by Reader Landscaping. Reader can take care of your lawn and property because it's our nature. Our nurture and your nature. That's how it works. I have to think that one through every week. But the point is, though, they just do an absolutely great job. They were back at my house here in the last week doing the final cleanup for the fall, just in time for the weather to come in. But it was really nice to look out the window and see the Reader guys just kind of sprucing things up to get them ready for the, what is that season? It starts with W. Charlie, what is it? Starts with W. It's winter. All right, he wouldn't say it, so I've got to say it. 60 years these folks have been in business, so you know they do a great job. Check them out online at readerlandscaping.com. That's readerlandscaping.com. Another guy who just does a great job, and I've known him, I don't know, forever it seems like, Tom Lounsbury. He used to have the nickname as Rambo because the guy was just always on and always going. I mean, he's a hardcore driven guy, and he is so knowledgeable in so many areas of the outdoors, in firearms, in shooting, in hunting. And I have had him out on the boat a couple of times as well, so he does like to fish too, and he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Tom, your love for the outdoors, your passion for the outdoors, has this always been a part of who you are? Did you grow up in an outdoor family?
Yes, I did. Well, I grew up on a farm, and actually one of the people that got me really interested in the outdoors was my mother, and she took me fishing and catch my first fish, and in 1952, it was her way of babysitting a 3-year-old. She took me out pheasant hunting, so on their farm, and that's why the pheasant hunting is what's got me into it. And then I got into trapping and all this, and just absolutely. And Michigan, my goodness, Mike, what a beautiful state, that we have, and all that's offered in that, and even all the public land we have for folks. You can't beat Michigan.
No, and you mentioned trapping. I have so much respect for trappers. I mean, I feel like they are the most knowledgeable outdoors men and women out there because, say, if you're bow hunting, you got to get a deer within, 30 yards? If you're gun hunting, 100 yards? But these trappers, I mean, they're trying to get a critter to swim through a specific area, maybe a foot by a foot square, or put their foot on an inch by inch pad. I mean, that takes skill.
Yeah, and they got to know how to read the territory, know the animal, and how to go about it. And I got to tell you, when I haven't did any trapping in a while, but when I did it, going out to check traps is almost Christmas morning to see what's in the packages.
Yeah.
It's really a thrilling thing, and it's a good thing to get kids involved. And you learn a whole lot about the outdoors when you get into trapping.
What about deer season? How has the Lounsbury family done so far this season?
We, opening day was pretty good. The corn started coming off, which helped us out. We're hunting my prairie grass fields, and I got shelter beds around it. And we always have a family deer camp, and I have family, and our deer camp is our home, and I just love having them here. And actually, they started taking some corn off on opening day. As for me, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're either too far or too fast. But anyway, my two older sons, Jake and Josh, they managed to bag a couple of dandy 8-point bucks on the same, it's actually in the same field. And we got them up in the deer tree. I've been looking at them, and they were mirror images of each other. In the DNR office on November 17th, that first Monday of the season there, they had, a deer check. I missed the deer check stations. I missed the interaction, talking to people, bringing deer in, all this. They had one for that day only, and we took those 2 bucks in, and they were both 2.5 years old. and I'm looking at them, and I swear they definitely are related, and I have a feeling they might even be twins. But anyway, that was that. And then my granddaughter, she's 22 now. She's been deer hunting since she was 10 years old, and she's a venison hunter. And I always get a kick out of people. They said that the youth season, they shoot these big bucks, it's going to ruin the kids. They'll expect a big buck. No, I've never seen that happen. And McKenna, she shot a big buck once, dandy 10 points. The following year, she didn't hesitate to shoot a doe. So she likes to deer hunt. Uses a little 44 Magnum 8-iron rifle. And anyway, she showed up. She's a certified nursing assistant, I guess it's called, for a nursing home in Mount Pleasant, and had to work long hours. And she couldn't go out until the 5th day. And she had a friend of hers from Midland that's never hunted with her. And they were up in the tree, and some corn's coming off. And, she bagged a dandy spike horn, was really happy to get it. So, and anyway, we put a priority on does, too. And but, yeah, that's our season's going along. It's and the only thing is the weather. I'm telling you, Mike. That opening day was balmy 60 degrees and sunny. Oh, have mercy. And then all of a sudden Sunday, I thought my deer shack on stilts I was in was going to tip over in that. So.
Yeah. Hey, why do you think, you were talking about, deer hunting, and in our state, what got me thinking about this was the deer check stations, which we don't have a lot of anymore.
Nope.
There is a significant percentage of Michigan deer hunters, there are a significant percentage, who really detest, I'm going to say almost hate the DNR and can't find anything right in anything that they're doing. Where do you think that comes from, Tom?
I think it's just your typical anti-government sentiment, because I appreciate what they're doing and how hard they work, and I know a lot of the employees. They're very skilled at what they do, dedicated. And anyway, I have no problem with them whatsoever, what they're doing. I do know that this registering deer online or by calling it in really had people upset, and they didn't want to give away their hot spots or anything else. And no, it's really the information that's coming out. It really adds it up, instead of you having to wait until the following year, this and that, and sending out surveys and all this stuff. Man, it pops all the facts and figures out there, and I fully support it. I'm glad you can call in. So far, I'm not technical, Mike. I've had to have my wife go online and register my tag. I get a little confused when I try to do that.
You are probably the least techie guy I know. And you admit it, right?
Absolutely. There's no technicality.
There's no Tom Lounsbury Outdoors website. There's no Tom Lounsbury social media stuff. It's just it's not in your makeup. And I respect you for that, actually.
Yeah. My wife makes me carry a cell phone, so I got a flip phone, and sometimes I have it on, but I've never texted. Have no desire to. So that's me.
But you do have a radio show. Tell me about that. Where do we hear that?
You hear that, and it's out of Bad Axe, WLEW, and I'm on every Sunday at noon on 102.1 FM, and then at 2:15 on 1340 AM. And people can listen to it if they're out of range at airtime by going to thumbnet.net. And thanks to you, I got into it, and I've been doing it for 20 years now. Time flies.
Hey, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it is a radio. Outdoor radio is a great outlet, isn't it?
Oh, and I love it. And the thing I love about even any outdoor communication I do, whether it's articles or radio, I get to visit different places all over Michigan and Canada and so forth. It's the people I meet, and you get to talk to them and have them share their passion with you for the outdoors. And, that's the bonus for me.
I've always said that especially the TV show. When I had the TV show, I had the opportunity to travel to a lot of cool places and do a lot of cool things. But the things that really stand out in my mind are the people that I've met over the years and the how much I've learned from them and how much I've enjoyed my conversations with them. And you're one of them, Tom.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mike.
Well, it's a great state, as you said at the beginning of our conversation. If you're going to pick a state to do what it is that we do, you and I, Michigan has got to be right near the top.
Oh, it is. It's at the top. I couldn't think of, and I love the entire state. In fact, I'm doing my best to go have adventures where, in places I've never been in Michigan, and there's quite a few yet. And and then we got the Upper Peninsula, and I love my thumb area. I'm fourth generation. I love everything that's offered, and like when you and I were kids, we didn't have wild turkeys and everything, but look at it now. And the fishing, we have Saginaw Bay. Oh my goodness. And I couldn't ask for it. I get a kick out of it. I had a Youper, a bear guide. When he met me, he called me a thumpkin. I don't mind that title at all. I'm kind of proud to be a thumpkin. And he's a Youper. I guess you call everybody in Michigan Michiganders or whatever, but I'm a proud thumpkin.
Hey, at least he didn't call you a troll because you live below the bridge.
Yeah, that's right. In some ways, I probably fit that description, trust me.
All right, Tom, listen, I always enjoy our conversations. I will wish you a wonderful December season. When does that open, by the way, that December pheasant season?
That starts December 1st and goes to January 1st.
Ooh.
And I have early December, I think it's December 6th, through Pheasants Forever. I'm having a youth hunt here that they're going to mentor and everything and take them out hunting. And it's Women on the Wing. It's a thumbs up ladies group, wonderful ladies with great dogs. They have better shotguns than me. They know what they're doing. Anyway, I'm looking forward to introducing the kids to it. But I December. Oh, if I'm not pheasant hunting, I think it's December 5th. Well, they call it a muzzleloader season. You can use anything you want.
Yeah, so much for a muzzleloader season these days, right? Yeah, I got to let you go, Tom. Tom Lounsbury, just an outstanding guy, a big part of the outdoor community here in Michigan. Listen to his radio show. You can also see his writings. And I can't say follow him online because there is no Tom Lounsbury Outdoors. We'll take a break. More coming up here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Ludington on News 97.98, 98.7 WLDN. And on the other side of the state, you can hear us in Saginaw. WSGW AM and FM, 790 AM, 100.5 FM. You know that I record the show each week from the studios of WSGW. In fact, this week I'm here with Charlie Rood, who, if you were with us in the second hour for the Ask Avery question, you had a chance to get to know a little bit about Charlie, the legend, Charlie. As I told you earlier, Charlie, I appreciate all your help on this show. And I'm going to get off topic here, but I've got to do this. Maybe it's the time of year, with Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything, but I would not be able to do this without your support. And by your, I mean you listening right now. If you're listening to the broadcast version of the show, the podcast version of the show, you follow me online and the social media stuff, that's a whole different critter in itself, isn't it? Boy, when I started, I never would have dreamed there would be such a thing as social media that you could follow people on, and the type of conversations that come up in social media that sometimes are so antisocial, right? I do try on all of my social media outlets. I do really try to keep a very above-board operation, above-board conversation. And I will admit, I got drawn into something here about a week ago. And maybe I was just in the right mood or the wrong mood, I should say. And there were some things said that normally I would just let go, and I responded to them. And I was I didn't respond in the most positive manner. And I actually had a friend of mine reach out to me privately, and he said, hey, he said, I want you to take a look at that. He says, you're a Christian man. Is that what you wanted to say right there? And I had to look at it and go, you know what? No, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for pointing that out. Hey, we're all people, right? I have such a passion for this, and sometimes I let things get to me, and I shouldn't. But your support over all these years has allowed me to continue to do this. And man, am I lucky. Man, am I blessed. Do I always do it right? No. Do I always make a perfect show? Never. Every show, I strive to make every show as good as I can. And, some are better than others. That's the way it is. Some shows are better than others. But you've been here over all these years, and I do certainly appreciate it. I really do. So what's going on right now? Okay, so hey, listen, deer season's not over yet. As you're listening to the broadcast version of the show, it ain't over yet. So we got a little bit of a break coming up where it goes back to archery season, and then the so-called muzzleloader season starts at least in the lower, right? Well, it's across the whole state. In the lower, you can go back to whatever tool you used during the firearm season. So what happened to muzzleloader season? There is no muzzleloader season anymore. It's an extended deer season. And then in some parts of the state, the late doe season goes into January. So here in our state, we basically start deer season in about the middle of September, and it continues on these days all the way through the first of the year, certainly. Man, gone are the days when deer season was 2 weeks from November 15th to the end of the month. The seasons have been extended because the DNR wants the smaller number of hunters to harvest more deer. So they're trying to give us extended seasons to do that. Is it successful? I don't know. That's not for me to say. I appreciate the extended opportunity to be out there. I appreciate the fact, I put down my crossbow the second week in November, and I will not pick it up now till next fall. Well, I will pick it up in springtime for turkey season. But I'm done crossbow hunting now. I'm using my Brenton 350 Legend. Not successfully yet. No, let me rephrase that. I have not taken a deer yet. Have my hunts been successful? Absolutely. Because I've been out there sharing those experiences with my son James, the grandkids, Addison and Trent, and they've all taken deer. And I know it's just a matter of time, right, before this big doe walks in front of me and I can put some venison back in the freezer. But it's good. It's good. What else is going on? Our ham for the holidays. We have kicked that back off in cooperation, in partnership with the Grillo family of Michigan brand meats. If you join me for Wednesday Night Live, every Wednesday night at 7 on my social media outlets, my live stream, we will give away a ham for the holidays, and we will do this right on through the first of the year. There was a Michigan brand ham at the Avery house for Thanksgiving, along with a turkey. But my family, they're ham eaters. We just have fallen in love with Michigan brand hams, and we really enjoy those. Little very personal thing here I want to share. There's an addition to the Avery family. I am now a great grandpa. I've always been a great grandpa, but now I'm a great grandpa. Congrats to my grandson Trent, his fiancee Lexi. God has blessed us with a beautiful baby girl. Her name is Sailor Gray. I thought she was going to be baby Michelle for the longest time, but they were just telling me that. What a beautiful name, Sailor Gray, Saylor, Sailor Gray. And she's a beautiful baby girl. Oh, it's wonderful. Yep, I'm a great grandpa. How did that happen? We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. When we come back, we're going to wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. I don't know if he's going to do another venison recipe for us or if he's switched off to something else, but it'll be a good one. People ask me about his cookbook. Maybe if we have time, we'll ask him about that as well. And are there plans to reissue that book? I don't know, because we get a lot of requests for it. Dixie Dave coming up after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine. Welcome back to Outdoor Magazine. My name is Mike Avery. I have had the privilege of knowing and being a friend of and working with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar for many, many years. I first met Dave. The restaurant was called the Old Dixie Inn. And we went down there and recorded a few segments of Dave cooking, and they were just so popular that we continued on. Dave, the Old Dixie Inn kind of morphed into Oscar and Joey's. These days there is no more Oscar and Joey's, but Dave is doing some cooking for a restaurant called the King's Dish in Standish. So he's still doing what he loves. And every week I get the privilege of talking with him and having him share a recipe with us. And this week is no exception. David, welcome back.
I'm doing good, Mike. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to have you along with us. What do you got for us this week, buddy?
Well, we got a venison steak Dijon. It's one of my very favorites. It's got French mustard in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a little zing to it. So you need an 8-ounce. This is for 4 portions. So you need 8 ounces of trimmed venison steak per person, a medium to medium small onion diced fine, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic diced fine, 12-ounce package of mushrooms sliced thin, a couple ounces of bourbon, a couple ounces of white wine, 2 ounces of heavy cream, 1 jar of beef gravy. And the Dijon mustard, get a good French mustard, not just a regular yellow mustard. It has to be a nice Dijon. It has a zing to it, and lots of fresh ground black pepper. Put it all over the meat before you pound it. So you're going to pound the steaks with a meat mallet between plastic wrap to about a 1/2 inch thick. And then heat a saute pan to very hot. Brown the steak, caramelize it on both sides. Remove while very rare. And then put that on a plate off to the side. In the same pan, you can turn the heat down a little bit. Add the onions, the garlic, and saute over lower heat for 2 to 3 minutes just to break that flavor loose. You don't want to fully cook it because you're going to still cook a little bit more. Flambe with the Jack Daniels or bourbon, whatever you're going to use, away from your stove hood. Make sure that you don't do it underneath the hood because you don't want to catch that screen on fire. So when the flames die down, return it back to the high heat and add the white wine. Reduce fast by about 3/4 of the volume. Add the mushrooms, the beef gravy, the cream, the mustard. And if you like, you could grate a little bit more black pepper into this. Reduce to a thick and creamy and place the meat back in. Finish cooking this to only the medium rare, and maybe medium. Try not to overcook it. The more you cook your venison, the more liver-like it becomes. So this is one of my very favorite dishes. I love it.
And you always say, and every time we talk about venison, if it's a steak or even a roast, not hamburger, but you're always saying, look, eat it as rare as you can. But there's got to be, Dave, there's got to be a point where even you would say, okay, that's too rare.
Not for me.
No?
As long as it's warm on the outside and cool on the inside, it's fine.
And with venison, we really don't have to worry, right? It's not like bear or a hog. You don't have to worry about venison, correct?
Correct. It's nice meat because you can eat it rare.
Mm-hmm. Dave, I get a lot of questions about the cookbook. Now, the cookbook, you had a couple of different editions of that, but that is no longer actively in print. Is that correct?
Correct. We sold out of that a couple of years ago.
Are there any thoughts of doing a reprint? Because these segments you and I do on the radio show have really created a lot of attention, and people are saying, I want one of those cookbooks, but I don't know where to get them. Have you thought about printing up some more?
Yeah, I might. I'll look into it and I'll see what the cost would be.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can charge enough so you make a couple bucks on it too, why not, eh?
Right, that's what I'm thinking. So I'll get in touch with the printer.
All right, that sounds good. And let us know, or let me know, so we can let people know about that. Okay?
Right.
All right, buddy. Always a pleasure. Oh, how's the deer season going? Or gone?
Good. Terry shot a real nice big 8-point.
Excellent.
We got our meat from the butcher.
Excellent. And you'll put that to good use, I'm sure. Why don't you send? Well, how come Terry didn't send me a picture of that? By the way, give her some grief for me.
I will.
All right.
Now wait a minute. You sent it to him?
I didn't.
Oh, she sent it to you, Mike.
I'm gonna. Did she send it in a text?
Yeah, with Rogers.
Oh. All right. I will post it.
Rogers?
I finally did see Rogers. I will look for yours, Terry, and I will. Can I post it, Terry?
Sure.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Minar. Terry, I'm sorry I didn't post your deer. I only saw Rogers' picture. I didn't see yours, but I will post it. Oh, well, it is we've got Thanksgiving behind us now. Christmas coming up. It's going to be a busy next few weeks, right? You're all kinds of things going on. So my wish for you is to take a big breath, relax, enjoy the season, and find some time to get outdoors. You know, we'll see what Mother Nature throws at us. We got to make the most of that and just deal with that. But you know, there is peace in the outdoors. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I would love to hear from you.